Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here for GGS Gamer, and we're going to be doing a 1-hour tour of Heavy Rain. It's basically been re-released for the PS4. And I am very familiar with the wireless controller. So, Heavy Rain, gosh, came out in 2010, 2011 for the PS3 from Quantic Dream. And it was kind of an interesting design. It's very cinematic storytelling. It is an adventure game, but it's all about choice. The idea is that you have, as you can see, it's very simple gesture controlled systems. They did implement the Move controller later on. It allowed you to use the Move controller. But it was kind of an interactive storytelling, but it allowed for you to you had several characters.
I better take a shower and get dressed before I go downstairs.
So you jump between 3 or 4 different characters in the game. You have Ethan here. He's a father of 2, happily married. You have a reporter, which I forget her name. I forget a lot of the other characters' names. Ethan stuck with me. Ethan Mars. You have a detective. And then you have a young lady who has lost a child. To the classic origami killer. Hey, no one's home. I'm gonna pee with the door open. Why not? It's what I do. Oh, and Ethan, you're not gonna wash your hands. And you're gonna brush your teeth without washing your hands. Waggle, 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 waggle. There we go. No need for a glass. I'll just drink straight out of the faucet. 'Cause I'm the man. Ethan looks like he could use a shave. Essentially, this is kind of a tutorial to kind of teach you the controls this beginning. You know, showing you that sometimes you need slow movements instead of fast. Naked man butt. Nice shower, though. I will say that. As Quantic Dream's kind of thing over the years has been to make these kind of interactive storytelling features, and that's kind of their big get up, is creating very cinematic, stoic kind of storytelling with the idea that decisions let's go get those clothes. Looking fly. Let's see, what do we got here? So as you can see, it's kind of just teaching you the mechanics of what you're going to need to do throughout the game. And that's what this kind of whole scenario is and changing my camera angles just to kind of get a feel for alright. Huh. You know, they started with
I've got some time before Grace and the kids get back. Better get some work done.
man, this is a nice house. Got a cake, that's right. Ethan's, or it's one of his somebody's birthday. Yeah. I'm roughing it right now. Anybody here, you should have had a beer. Maybe you thought it was too early. Gotta get that espresso shot. skill. Well, that's interesting. Hold on a second. My TV turned off. It apparently thought I wasn't active enough. Alright, there we go. That was kind of funny. Let's see, oops. Put a little music on. Nice place to work. Beautiful view. Decisions do need to be made fast and furious in this game, though, when certain things happen. It's definitely for certain. Now you can see, Heavy Rain looked pretty amazing for its time when it came out. It was a solid looking game. And I will say the graphics are definitely stepped up here. Obviously, you had the Beyond Two Souls, which was a game that they owned, or they developed as well, which was their follow-up. It wasn't as good a game, though. It's not that it was bad, it just wasn't as good, in my opinion. Whoops. It's the Highlander. There can be only one. Huh. The fam's home. The biggest issue that I had with this game was, whoops, is number one, weird control things like that where you gotta use basically both hands to press all the buttons. Plates. Where are they?
The plates should be in the living room cupboard.
Now, the funny thing is, you know, Quantic Dream has always done these interesting looking games. You know, they're quality titles, beautiful looking games. And yet, the funny thing is,
She's more goddamn beautiful with every passing day. I don't know if I've already told you this today, but I find you very attractive.
but the funny thing is whatchamacallit came out as my cat comes to visit. Oh, I didn't give her a kiss in time. But then, gosh, I was kind of missed my point there for a second. But the fact that whatchamacallit came out, oh gosh, Until Dawn. Motion controls. Gotta be strong. Ah, Rocky. But Until Dawn kind of outdid Quantic Dream. And it was kind of funny how, you know, a game that not many people were really thinking about. So you can see Ethan's a good dad. I let this kid win. Because, hey, it's his birthday. Let's see, where are you, Sean?
Why isn't Sean at the table? He should be around here somewhere.
Let's see if he went upstairs. He killed the bird. Anyways, the graphics definitely look a lot better. Well, not a lot better, but they're definitely cleaned up a bit. It's running at a full 1080p, which I don't think the PlayStation 3 version did. I think it ran at 720, if I remember correctly. You gotta have all those P's. I don't remember if there was anything. I think it's running maybe at 60 frames as well instead of 30. It still has kind of the quirky movement mechanics. The character sometimes feels a little stilted when you're moving. But overall, it's a solid port. Now, I don't know if this was just a temporary thing or if it's because it knows that I owned Heavy Rain. But it only cost $10 on the store. I don't know if that was a pricing gaffe or something. I don't remember them doing a discount for Beyond Two Souls like that. Maybe I forget. Ah. But very soon. Jason. I think they cleaned that up. Jason. 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 Jason.
You really shouldn't run her off like that, you know? Awful lot of teaching in here.
Please, Dad, can I have one? I would really love to have one.
Gotta have that balloon.
Okay, let's go buy a balloon.
Great!
Hey, champ. What's your
Creepy clown.
balloon would you like, Jason?
The red one.
There you go.
He doesn't look creepy at all.
That'll be $2, sir.
Jason, wait for me. Wait for your dad, son. It's really crowded in here.
Jason.
Jason!
Jason.
Jason!
Jason.
Jason! 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 Jason!
Jason.
Jason! Hey, watch it! Jason! Hey, be careful! Jason! Jason! Jason!
Jason, God, you really had me scared there.
Jason! Jason!
There he is.
Shit!
The problem with that whole scene is it's a traumatic scene and the voice acting is very awkward. It was probably the biggest beef that I could have had with the game is that a lot of the people that they hired obviously were not native English speakers. And not that I'm criticizing that, but it meant that things were very awkward when it came to pronunciation and whatnot. Like instead of the origami killer, it was the origami killer. Or Jason. But if you can put yourself past that, it's a surprisingly well crafted game. It is a very well crafted game, and the choices that you get to make are very interesting. And the idea that you have multiple states based on the decisions you make and how you keep your characters interacting with things. For instance, you have characters that can completely disappear from the game. They can die, and that's the end of their story for the rest of the game. I mean, they're gone at that point. And you basically play out the story without their interaction. There are very super positive outcome. You have your super best outcome, your super worst outcome. And then there's several steps in between based on the characters and so forth that live and die and whatnot. So, that's something to think about. But not much has changed. I don't know. I'm curious if the DLC that they released, if it's part of the game, and maybe we'll look at the options menu in the beginning, because the DLC stuff was actually separate from the game. You actually had to play it from a separate menu. It wasn't very good though. And I remember they were talking about how they were gonna have so much DLC content, or they were gonna have like multiple add-on packs. They ended up only doing the one, and it wasn't very well received, to put it bluntly. And just for a second here, I'm going to take a quick screenshot here.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah, and it's kind of the whole point of this. It did have beautiful menus. The idea here is now you see a completely different setting. Color palette, everything. You notice in the beginning, everything's bright, colorful, happy family. Tragic event happens. Now you notice color palette is, it's rainy, no sun, gloomy. The color palette is a little more drab, olive green, grays, browns, basically kind of depicting, a family that's broken. They just, they're broken. That's all there is to it. This one event, this tragic event, has basically destroyed this once happy family, and then events transpire, obviously, that take things into a whole different setting. But we're going to go back to the main menu. And I say that because I want to make sure. I'm kind of curious to see if let's see, we have extras down here. Okay, no bonuses unlocked. The trophies, that's not really. So that's interesting. I'm curious, maybe it's not in there. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Well, I'll see if I can find out more afterwards, and I'll put it in the notes of the story if I find out for certain. Just out of curiosity, maybe it's in chapters. No. Unless it shows up later. Now, they could have integrated into the main storyline. It was, like I said, it was only one mission. It involved the reporter, and like I said, I forget her character's name. And she was investigating another aspect of the origami killer, I think, if I remember correctly. It was kind of a odd mission. It was weird. It was like... And the strange thing, it was like $5, which at first you say, well, that's not that bad for DLC content. In 2010, no, that's not necessarily bad, except for the fact that it took you about 15 to 20 minutes to finish. I think you could have spent, maybe another 15 minutes if you went through and looked at every possible thing. But for the most part, it was 20 minutes worth of content. And for $5, it seemed a little pricey for 20 minutes worth of content. So... and then, like I said, shortly thereafter, we kind of got a bad rap. It wasn't well received, and they didn't release any more content after that. It was kind of sad, because I think they could have had some interesting side plots and so forth that weren't necessarily covered, but alluded to. But they, I think just the time it took them to put the one together, and the mixed reception, I think, just made them look at it and say, well, we're just going to start working on our next game, Beyond Two Souls. So anyways, with that in mind, like I said, We just saw Heavy Rain. This is the PS4, the PlayStation 4 version. Just came out a week or two ago. Graphics are a little cleaned up. Runs at a consistent frame rate, 1080p. Not sure if it includes the DLC, but like I said, I'll try to find out before I post. And like I said, it showed up in the store for me for $9.99. It was kind of weird. I don't know if it was on sale or if it noticed I had bought it. I bought it on disc, so it's not like I owned it digitally. So that could have been a quirky price thing. But, because I thought it was supposed to be $29.99. But, if not, maybe it is only $10 in the store, who knows. But it's a solid game. I think people should play it. It's definitely better than Beyond Two Souls, in my opinion. I think it tells a more interesting story. I think the family dichotomy, and I like the idea of the characters that can live and die. Whereas Beyond Two Souls focuses on one character in different states. I think that Beyond Two Souls looks a little better. Number one, because they're using more famous people in it and so forth. And so I think they did a better job with the character mapping, facial mapping, and so forth. But I think the actual story and plot and the interaction of the characters and dialogue, barring the sometimes questionable voice acting, is really good in Heavy Rain. And I think it's a game that many, if you're out there and if you didn't get a chance to play it on the PS3, it's definitely a game you should pick up. Especially if you, like I said, for some reason it shows up like it did for me, costing $10. That's a steal. Easy steal. With that in mind, though, Johei Goto once again. GGS Gamer. This was our 1 hour tour. Maybe less than 1 hour. For Heavy Rain on the PlayStation 4. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter at GGS Gamer. Or come to the site. You can post on the article in question. You can go to the forums, etc., etc. We appreciate it all. And with that in mind, good night.